All right, check this out. This was at a tournament in Singapore. This all got shared with me by my contact. And this is a 9-year-old girl playing in a store's Beyblade organized play tournament. And she is letting it rip. She came third overall. But this massive one-day tournament that went for like 8 hours. And the whole time she's giving it that pure Beyblade energy.
Yeah. That's what you want.
It makes me want to play.
That there is like, she looks like an anime character.
That's
in the sense
exactly.
like she's
reigniting like your childhood wonderment of just like
that power stance, letting it rip.
There's definitely like, it reminds me of golf in the sense that there's like definitely an actual
Dress
art to the
code.
way. No, not a dress code. Anyway, what the fucking weird
that's hot.
Just have that as the roll.
That's
That's gross.
Check on the mic.
That's-
check.
Check on the
That's
mic.
going to be
Check.
the title card. Hey everyone, welcome back to From the Vault, a podcast about, I guess, the tabletop stuff happening around the biz, around stores, around communities, all that kind of stuff. I am Dylan. As always, I am joined by Trent.
Hello, everyone. It's stuff. We talk about stuff here.
We talk about stuff. As evident from last week's episode,
We talk about stuff.
it was just stuff.
Yeah.
And then behind the camera is Connor.
Hello,
producer
Hello, everyone.
Today, we're going to talk about what we were going to talk about last week.
What are we talking about, Dylan?
We're talking about Toyfair. I know, crazy, right?
Toyfair.
Industry shit. Yeah, Toyfair.
The Australian Toy Association.
The Australian Toy Association's Toyfair. It was on in Melbourne a couple of weeks back.
Dylan went. I did not.
I went. Yeah, well,
A common theme.
I think a common theme when it comes to business ownership.
Yeah.
Maybe if you owned the business too.
Yeah, maybe. Well, it'd be a really pretty awkward podcast. We both own the business. From a business owner's standpoint and a business owner's standpoint, this is business owner
This
talk.
is business owner pod. Anyway,
Turn Vault into a co-op and just give shares to everybody.
Yeah. Seems like a good way to run into the ground.
as long as it's non-voting, because when a lot of people have ideas, they get really messy.
Yeah, Dylan doesn't like anybody else's ideas. This just in.
Established. Dylan is a capitalistism.
I'm a capitalist, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to riffle shuffle. We're going to riffle that one out.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Do you want to know more?
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I didn't do nothing.
All right. Well,
I don't know about it.
we had meetings down at Toyfair with all of our suppliers, and some that weren't like on the book meetings that we ended up just going into the booths, which was very funny. Getting denied from a booth one day and then going back the next day and then having the people. This is the Hasbro booth. It's just like lady at the front's like, "Do you have an appointment?" And we're like, "No, just want to see Mitch." And she's like, "Well, you can't get in without an appointment." So that next day, I'm like, "Oh, hey, Mitch," and Mitch is like, "Yo, come in."
Man, you got big dogged by the Hasbro lady.
Damn.
Just gonna sign the NDA, walk through.
Now break the NDA.
Yeah.
Well, I can break NDAs on stuff that has been announced.
Yes. Which
So
is
that's-
everything we're talking
Which is
about
everything we're talking about today. Because
Yay,
it's been released to the
Toyfair.
public.
I'm going to learn as the listeners learn today because I was not in this meeting. So
I
think
refuse to learn.
I've got
I
a
know
whole
s-
bunch of notes here on stuff that we did down there and who we talked to and all that kind
I've
of
been
stuff.
reading them.
So, well, let's start. Like, we had a meeting with the Asmodee booth because Asmodee actually has representatives in Australia now under a supplier.
Woo.
VR Asmodee.
Yes, VR Asmodee. We talked about a lot of really cool stuff there with our account rep and with the head of organized play there and all that kind of stuff. One of the big things, obviously, Star Wars Unlimited.
Let's go.
Star Wars, yes, the stock arrived for that today. Well, the pre-release stock did. So pre-release is happening this weekend. It's probably already happened by the time this episode goes out.
It's very exciting. I'm very excited.
The really cool thing is they're letting us sell the accessories during pre-release. So only during pre-release event can you pick up or buy the
Sleeves.
Game Star Wars Unlimited accessories. So that's the deck pods, the playmats, the sleeves.
The deck pods look really cool. They're
Yeah,
like
they
very
look
unique
really cool.
design.
They've got they're like the Arkham. It's like they were testing them out with the Arkham Horror pods.
Yeah.
That had the little Arkham Horror like mini inserts in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, pull that up, Connor.
Yeah. Connor's way ahead of that.
Yeah.
You were going to tell him when to do it, but he just knew what to do.
He knew what to do.
You can hear him with his little mechanical keyboard back there. What a powerful man. What a powerful man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so they got a little space for you to put your leader on there.
Wait, turn that down.
Whoa, holy
Turn that down. They probably couldn't even hear that.
Yeah.
Everyone at home's like, we're just like, turn that down. Coming 2024, which is now.
Yeah,
that's
so
pretty
there's
cool.
a deck pod for each of the aspects.
And then, yeah, you put like, there's like that see-through part where you put your
Yeah,
like leader.
so there's a I think there's actually a top loader in there. So you put the leader in the top loader and put it in the.
Also, they hold 100 cards, don't they?
Yes, which is very important for the format that got announced.
Yes.
Twin Sons.
Twin Sons, very exciting. Also, another different game, another different format. They're pretty cool. Don't even use Star Wars.
Have you heard about
pretty giant.
Have you heard about Twin Sons?
I have not.
So it's a 4-player multiplayer format
No
of
way.
Star Wars Unlimited.
Oh well, let me guess. It's Highlander.
Oh my god, how did you? Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my
Singleton.
god.
It's close.
Oh.
It's double leader Highlander.
Okay.
So it's like partner commander Highlander.
Yeah, but still Highlander.
It's still Highlander. Yeah, so it's 100 card singleton.
Multiplayer.
Multiplayer. They're reducing the cards, the deck size for while only Spark of Rebellion is available because
there's only so many cards.
Limited cards, yeah.
Actually, I don't think it's 100 cards. Let me just quickly.
Oh,
It's 87 cards.
can everyone at home put a big L in the chat or in the comment section at home for Dylan not knowing the size?
Calm
of the decks?
down,
Calm down, mate. Yeah, calm down. Hey, oh yeah, calm down.
Yeah. So you get 2 leaders. You have to include 2 leaders instead of just one. So
Yeah.
you get more aspect options.
Very cool.
You can include any base you want, but obviously that matches your life total. There's 3 tokens to seize now instead of just the initiative.
Very cool.
So there's the blast token, which deals 1 damage to each opponent's base if you seize that one. And then there is the plan token, which lets you draw a card.
Ooh, I love that
You
mechanic.
draw a card and then you put 1 card from your hand on the top or the bottom of your deck.
So you're
Ah,
loading.
cool. Kind of like a weird scry thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
It's 80 cards.
80
So
cards.
it's 50 card minimum now. And then, after the 4th set, they're bumping it up to 80.
Okay.
That
makes
makes
sense.
sense. There'll be more cards floating around.
But yeah, and you cannot include more than 1 copy of any card.
Yeah, it's Singleton.
It's
yeah.
Singleton.
It's Highlander,
Yeah.
it's Singleton. Yeah, very good. There can only be one.
The difference to Commander is that when
The game?
the format, yeah,
and
Commander.
the tokens and the cards and the game.
The difference of Commander
The way you play
to
it.
Twin Sons is
And the resource. And the IP. And the distributor.
well, I mean,
and the publisher.
Universe is Beyond, right? There's 2 sets a year now.
And there is Disney.
So the my mind just fried for a moment. Oh yeah, the difference between Commander and Twin Sons is the second one player is defeated, the game ends, and whoever has the most life total wins.
Oh, that's kind of wild.
Wait,
That's kind of wild.
Yeah, so hang on. So you just aggro one player and then just hope that you've done it. So
Well,
Yeah.
that's dangerous. You can't. I can
Sabine
already
aggro
see.
likes
Yeah, I can
this.
already see. Well, even then, I can already see like the bit of tactics there. Like you could speed aggro their base, then someone else just like love taps it.
yeah.
And if anybody hit you during that time because you're aggro and you're currently like exhausted, all of a sudden you're like, well, I don't win.
Yeah.
And I just let somebody else win on purpose. So like I feel like already, I guess tactically that being interesting. I will say this, I'm much happier that that's the way. And I think they're doing this because they know how long casual Commander games can go for.
Absolutely.
And what's the point of having this format if it's designed to go for 3 hours? Who the hell has time for that? Like
Lockie.
the only reason you have time for... Yeah, Lockie. Yeah, Lachlan would. He would. Yeah, if you're listening, Lachlan, this game's for you. But no, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense to me already. When I first heard that, I went, as you saw, I went, oh. Now I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I play that format. I probably would just play the base game for a while. I'll probably see how I go with that.
Yeah.
I might build a Twin Sons deck just to have around.
Yeah, and you know what? I'd definitely build one just to see how we go.
There would be some cool
I'm already really liking the idea of like the different tokens. And it kind of feels a bit board gamey. That's cool.
Chirrut Imwe Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing being that you've just chosen 2 vigilance aspects, so really hard to deck build around that.
But if you have just a bunch of vigilance cards, it's like full
you
set
have
in.
to have the same
Base.
no hero. Or they have to both have hero or villainy as well. So you can't.
That's
have,
correct. Yeah.
You can't have like
Vader and
Tarkin
Luke.
Chewie.
Yeah, you can't have Tarkin Chewie or Inquisitor Luke.
Yeah, but it's funny. You kind of like Vader and Luke, right? Because there's no like Luke that as a villain, even though they were on the same team for like a short amount of time there.
A very short amount of time.
It's like
you know
a
what I
3
mean?
comic arc.
Yeah. Then and like 50 minutes. 50 minutes of screen time. But you know,
Heroic
I feel,
Vader, he has like 1 health left.
yeah. I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
It's just the thing, just him like falling down a pit.
It's 0-1. Yeah, it's 0-1. He enters exhausted.
That's amazing. That would be me if I was a Magic card or a Star Wars Limited card.
So yeah, Star Wars Unlimited. In terms of what we talked about down there, we mainly discussed organized play.
Yep.
Because obviously we have concerns about organized play, like the way Fantasy Flight's built out the organized play system. It's really great for stores in like Connecticut. Where
That's awesome.
They might have 8 players and there's like 100 stores within a a 10-mile radius.
Shout out my
But in Australia, where you kind of need a lot of players in a single store to make it viable, 8-player organized play support doesn't really work. I know that we're looking at a minimum 16 players at each store.
Yeah.
So, the OP kits that are meant to supply 8 players for half a season and are going to supply 16 players for a quarter of the season.
We'll have to get more of them.
Yes. So
more organized play kits. More.
They are very open to us getting more organized play kits as we need them, as long as we provide them the numbers. Obviously, that all depends on when Fantasy Flight finally gets their tournament software up and running, because that's still not up and running, and it won't be up and running for pre-release this weekend.
That's going to be fun.
So we'll be running that through Challenge.
Yep.
But then there's also the problem of we don't know what the first set's going to look like stock-wise.
Yep.
Because it's a first time. So yeah, there's still going to be a lot of discussions back and forth with Australian OP to try and figure out where we can get more on kits or not. But we just can't confirm anything. I know that we have the launch promos. I know that we have the I know that we have the launch promos. I don't think we have the weekly play kits yet. I think they're coming with the rest of our stock next week.
Yep.
But they're open to discussions, and if they have spare kits, it's likely that we're going to be able to get them. So I'm feeling pretty confident about it.
Okay. I'm
probably about 70-75% confident that we're going to be okay. When it comes to organized play.
Yeah, we'll see how things go.
Yeah, I think we'll know more once we're through launch.
So, yeah, but the new deck pods are cool. All the new stuff is coming out for it. That's exciting. It has a pretty cool, it seems really successful release. Seems good. Obviously, we're very excited for this game, and we're excited to see how the actual format runs, because it's good to talk about this other format they're coming out with, but I want to see what the actual baseline format looks like for the game, because, again, at the moment, from what I've seen, there's a very vast deck pool, people building lots of different stuff, but I'd like to see when that translates to actual card gameplay, what the actual format starts to look at, especially if you're playing with a 16-person pod, what that kind of looks like as a meta game.
I think the limited formats is something I'm really interested in seeing. Obviously, we're going to see a lot of that in pre-release. Obviously, we also have the staff pre-release that we're running.
Of course.
Just amongst our staff members, so that they know what the game is and how to sell it and how to push players through the whole process of building a deck and playing the game. So I'm really interested to see how the limited side of things run. Obviously, it being a new set, this is the thing that Piper and I talked about on our episode. Go back and watch that. Where we kind of came to the consensus. Yeah, link down below. We came to the consensus that because it's the first set, it's likely going to be anything goes, because there's not really distinguishable mechanics like there are now in Magic, where a set's mechanics are so built into the set that they don't really work on a standard deck build level.
This isn't if I'm drafting a Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, where it's I'm playing a ninjutsu deck and there are enough cards to support that in the limited. It's just going to be I play pretty good mid-range stuff.
Yeah. And I think that's what it's going to look like, and that's okay for a first set.
It's a first set. Yeah, I think that's fine.
I think that's king.
The best thing about a first set being mid-range and fun is that you can come in with any deck build and play fun and have some fun.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the key to getting people to weeklies. You don't need to have competitive aggro all the time, guys. Other stuff we saw. We saw the Lego Asmodee collab.
Let's go, dude.
So Asmodee announced a couple of months back, or I think a month ago, that they are doing a collaboration with Lego on a game. We saw the prototype. Obviously, we can't show photos or any of that stuff. We didn't take any photos.
Is it Lego Fortnite? Because I love Lego Fortnite.
It is not. If you're expecting...
Damn it.
If you're expecting a board game with Lego, you're going to be disappointed. It really is Lego with kind of a board game going on.
So it's so it's designed to be what? You're building something? That's the core elements of the game?
You're kind of, it looks like you're building the map. I didn't get to a full look at the rules and all that, but based on the pieces in the box and what it looked like, it also looks like very generic Lego. It's not
Lego Heroescape.
No.
Lego
Junkbot Undercover.
Lego Junkbot Undercover.
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
Lego Robo Rally. No.
You got one wrong.
Lego Island 2,
wrong?
the board game.
Yeah.
It kind of.
Lego the role playing game. Why is there Lego role playing games? I think it'd be really cool. That'd be really cool.
There's a Genesis system.
That's absolutely be a Genesis fan made thing.
But Genesis for everything.
Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier. I'm going to take it to a second. We were talking about this earlier. We were talking about how Final Fantasy. I always call it that. Fantasy Flight's Death Watch, right? The Warhammer.
Yes.
Space Marine role playing game. I was talking about how it's like it's so garbage. Like, it's all over the place. I don't know what it's doing. I love it. It's one of my favorite like role playing game
Same.
systems. But it's so bad. And like I don't tell people it's like good. I don't want to lie about it. It's like who knows what that's just doing. It's not very balanced, not very well edited. It's like really bad terminology for everything.
It's a system for dedicated 40k players.
Yeah, I think we played it with somebody who was very. The DM was lovely, like an actual old teacher of ours, and that we called him Smithy. And Brad was he's an awesome guy, but he wasn't very eloquent on like kind of what he wanted from the campaign. And he wanted to play Death Watch. And it's such a grindy, mechanically combat-focused system that we were like, oh, we're just going to be playing like basically skirmishy, like Space Marine battles. But what he wanted was like a lot of this like dialogue, like role-playing on the ship. And then we just go to a mission, and then we come back, and then we're back into like in character. And it's like, well, I'm Brother Iglesias, you know what I mean? So it's like that's what he kind of wanted, but he didn't really like make that clear. So he was using like a lot of mechanics that weren't from Death Watch, which is a common thing I find. But he was trying his best to like make it work because he didn't really care for the mechanics of Death Watch. Point I was making was like we just kind of felt like, why don't you just play Genesis? Like just play Genesis and just put a skin over it. Yeah. I feel like Genesis is a system I love Genesis so much, but it's also just a system that like you just put a skin over anything. You can say there's Lego Genesis, there's Fallout Genesis, Halo Genesis, 40k Genesis. Like just put a skin over anything. It's so easy to do.
God, 40k Lego game?
That'd be cool. 40k Lego Fortnite. Have you played Lego Fortnite yet?
I haven't. I want to.
It's actually unironically really quite good.
Yeah.
It's not like Fortnite at all. It's more like, do you know Valheim?
Yes.
It's a lot like Valheim, actually.
Valheim.
It's a lot like
Valheim.
Valheim.
With the homies.
Yeah. Moving back to the conversation
Other things we saw at the Asmodee booth. Okay, we saw a really cool game that we actually just got installed because it comes out on Friday, March 1st. So dating the episode. I actually have one here because I'm going to be taking it home with me.
Whoa. You get to see this. If you're watching this on YouTube. Oh my God.
It's called Medical Mysteries New York Emergency Room. Now, this is I'm being a real geek now. The escape room guys, I forget what they're called. I think they do escape room, not exit, but they're called Identity Games. They did essentially it's an escape room, but it's about solving patients' problems.
Like
now,
House.
I've been watching a lot of House lately.
Yeah.
So this game is tickling something in me that I really enjoy. It's not lupus. It's never lupus.
House seems to be more about like this, like kind of like this, the social element. I think that show's not as much about the medical mystery. But sorry, go on.
Bro, it's not Chicago Med.
So you play this game, you get a Vicodin addiction.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was
You're missing half your thigh.
Yeah.
You play this game and you're on your third divorce.
So it's a medical mystery game where you get a patient ID and you can send them off to tests and you get results of those tests and you have a limited time to kind of examine the patient and figure out what they're doing before they die.
God, that sounds riveting.
Send them for an ECG. You always send them for an ECG.
It's
quickly.
It's really
don't argue with me, Gray from Grey's Anatomy.
It's a really interesting thing. No, it is definitely not Grey's Anatomy.
It's that one episode of ER with the helicopter.
Yeah.
There was 2 episodes of the helicopter. The same guy got injured by it.
No, the second one was Lego Fortnite. The second one.
Oh, okay, sorry, Lego Fortnite. Yes, I do like that they have to put a disclaimer on here. Disclaimer: Medical Mysteries is for entertainment purposes only and does not provide medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Yeah.
So like,
no, but I did it in New York emergency room.
No, but I took it. I took the game right, and I did an ECG, and it says that Natasha has perfectly fine heart rhythm. But you're not Natasha. You're having a heart attack.
Natasha's like you're fine, Natasha. Stop crying.
The echocardiogram came back clear.
I'm actually kind of looking forward to playing this. It's really weird. Yeah. I know, but I'm geeking out.
You got demons in your blood,
so,
Natasha.
Really cool.
We got to siphon it out.
Medical Mysteries, like Medical Mysteries 1066.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Black Plague
we must bleed. This woman is a witch.
Yeah, this Medical Mysteries, the 7th layer of hell.
We must bury her in cocaine.
Yeah.
It's just snake oil.
Look,
everything's snake oil.
Honestly, if she floats, she's fine.
If she drowns, she's a witch.
Damn. Diagnosis must have been a witch.
You got witches dancing around the hypothalamus.
There's the next one.
You know what? Every woman I throw in the river sinks. Every woman is a witch. That must mean that every woman in town is a witch. Throw them all in the river. I'm so good.
It's an epidemic.
In the river.
It's an epidemic.
I'm so good at this. Throw them all in the river. Man, sir, we're out of women. Oh no, we will never recover.
So yeah,
I have failed that town and we will never recover.
you're
You're
we
the
just
mayor.
Throw me in the river.
Yeah.
just brainstorming medical mysteries, medieval times.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it. It's really fun. Go pick it up.
Have you
a try
played
of it. I played the tutorial while I was
yeah.
down there at the booth. It was fun.
Sorry, I just
was
thought-
I paying attention to my meeting with our sales rep? No.
I was gonna say.
Jenna was doing all that. I was having fun.
Yeah,
It's
Jenna
a
works
heavy
really hard. It's funny Jenna's not here because they're the one doing, I'm sure, most of these meetings. And Dylan's like, oh, Natasha is dying.
She needed an X-ray. Oh, MRI.
Damn.
This is just like-
I need therapy.
This is just modern day operation.
yeah.
Pretty much.
Can you imagine?
Your patient's dead.
You found a socket wrench in her shin bone.
Damn it. That is and for legal reasons that is not medical advice.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
and the
tax
last thing I saw at this
Also not
booth,
true.
which was something that I cannot believe exists.
This one's wild. I've heard of this a lot.
Pull it up, Connor. It's called Altered TCG.
While Connor brings it up, I want to mention this as well. Somebody came into the store the other day. No names. I don't know who they were. Some guy came in the store and he had an Altered Beast shirt on. You know Altered Beast?
No.
The old arcade game, Altered Beast?
Really?
Yeah. The werewolf game. It's like I think it was on like the Sega Saturn as well.
Is this the one?
That is Altered TCG. That's the one.
Yeah,
It was on
that's the one.
Kickstarter,
Well, well, ironically, it's funny that you don't know Altered Beast because it's really old. But this guy didn't know what it was either, and I was like, Altered Beast, bro, and he's like, oh yeah, my shirt, yeah, it's pretty cool. I was like, man, it's like
It's a new era.
I was just like, dude, you know, like when you know that classic thing where somebody's like, "Oh, you're wearing a Nirvana shirt? What's name 4 songs?" That was kind of like me. I was like, "Have you ever played Altered Beast? Like, what is happening?" Anyway, that was it. Sorry, moving on. Altered TCG.
Yeah.
Trent having an old person moment.
I'm
I
getting
know.
Keyforge vibes from this.
Okay, no, this is something else entirely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright,
yeah.
So old
This is
TCG
worse somehow.
from a gameplay perspective, it is like Disney Lorcana. You're not
It's
like
Duel
you're not doing
Masters.
combat against your opponent. You're building yourself towards a goal like Keyforge.
Yep.
I was going to say, hang on a second. That sounds like Keyforge.
But the big thing, and this is what they tried to sell me on it, and I tell you now, it didn't work. It is.
it has a day cycle.
There's a day-night cycle.
There is
Sorry.
a day-night cycle. Yeah.
Sorry, Innistrad Midnight Hunt.
It's like an NFT card game.
It's like that. It's like that.
it's not MetaZoo. How well that worked out.
So sorry, let me jump in. So from what I've gathered of this game so far, because a lot of my friends, I'm big in the Yu-Gi-Oh crowd. Well, I'm fairly big in the Yu-Gi-Oh crowd. Still talk to a lot of the guys. They would talk about this game as well. So there are no reprints, right?
No.
So what happens is the cards are unique and they have like unique codes.
Cards are unique.
Unique.
Like what was it? Warhammer Age of Sigmar Champions.
Yeah.
Like any of the Play Fusion stuff. That
Yeah.
was in the old days. I think they had another ones like light something. I forget the name. It was whatever. It died the second it went digital.
Yeah. So the point being is that every single card's unique, has a code, and then the idea being is that like you get the physical card, you then put it onto your account, and then you own that card.
Correct. You
And then
own
when
that
you
card.
trade that card to somebody else, you trade those codes using the app as well as you just trading physical cards.
Yeah.
So
the thing that I was told is you don't need to just trade the physical cards.
this gets weirder.
You can trade the digital like NFT of the card, right? And then because it's registered in the system as you own it, but you don't have the card, you can then request a reprint from the publisher. And then they will print it and send it to you if you pay the shipping cost. So
Wait,
I was
That's a thinker. Hang on.
that makes that seems terrible.
yeah.
That seems very easy. Already, I'm like, wait, but if I just doesn't Connor and I both end up with all of those cards?
So hang on, they're making a game with an NFT market essentially.
Yeah, hang on. Let's take a step
Yes.
back, right? What's stopping? Hang on. So I have
Is Logan Paul involved with
So
this?
I have 2 cards, and
Yes.
my opponent, and Connor has 1 card, and then Connor and I digitally swap our cards. So now I digitally have the 1 card I didn't have, and he digitally has 2 cards he did have, and then we both asked them to reprint those cards for us.
Correct.
And then we now have 3 of those cards each.
Yes, but you can't go to tournaments with those cards unless you own them digitally. Do you remember that really dumb, like, was it MTG DAO thing that was doing the rounds on Reddit for a little bit?
Yeah,
When
I
NFTs
know
went
that one.
nuts?
Yeah,
Where the DAO format was you cannot play unless you physically have these cards registered.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Altered TCG is.
Yeah, you can't play unless you physically have the card. Yeah, that's what.
No, you can't play unless you digitally register the physical card.
Yeah, you said physically there, but yeah, digitally registered. Yeah, that's wild. So okay, I see it. This sounds like a game which would work better online.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be physical. It's like just wasting
It's just
resources.
wasting cardboard.
Yeah, wasting cardboard.
Yeah, look, the thing I brought up too is like it's very hard for us if we're looking at doing a single side of it. Like for us, we do assess every trading card game that comes through of what is the potential for it to be a secondary market for us as well, and whether that's a stream that we can get revenue from. And I looked at this and I went, so I now need to go through and change the registration of cards every time someone buys them from me and every time someone sells them from me.
Oh, you just wouldn't do. There's no way you would. There's no singles market for this game.
No.
I feel like by definition, right? You then would like. That's almost what it's trying to disincentivize.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said. This is disincentivized singles market. And they're like, oh, no, it incentivizes it because now you have a worldwide market base. No. So now I can sell, like I get like a legendary, like, I don't know, white wizard or something here in Australia. And then I put it onto the marketplace for it to sell. And then
They just buy
someone
it digitally.
in Germany buys it.
You just need to translate them to code. That's what you need to do.
I just need to give them the code and then they can request a reprint from the factory. And that could be cheaper than me sending the physical card to them.
But here's another thing. Like, if you and a bunch of mates just agree, right? You just trade the card amongst each other, request a reprint, and then by the time it all goes around, like
No, but none of you. But that's
they
the thing,
get
right?
the physical card, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter from a perspective of tournaments because you just have a bunch of cards you just don't own.
Yeah.
I do like the idea that it's like if I were to steal somebody's collection, I just don't own any of those cards.
Yeah.
But then I also don't like the idea of just being like, hey, massive data breach incoming. Like that's another layer. But here's the thing, like.
Oh, I lost a card. Can you reprint it?
Can you print it for me?
Please?
But then again, like, so none of it matters outside of tournaments anyway. Like, none of the system matters because physically is all that matters in the context of casual play. Physicality is all that matters.
Yeah.
Like,
This
like,
game is very like,
bless them, but
juicing.
bless them and good luck, sir.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're gonna watch you from a distance and see if we like what you're doing, which we probably don't. Look, I like. Oh, little frog king. All right, I'm back on. I mean, I'm buying.
back in now.
I'm buying in. I want to own Mr. Frog King. He looks really cool. There's a little hammer. Man, look at him go.
I'll trade him to you if I get one.
All right, cool. But I don't
then
need
you
the
can
code.
request a
reprint.
reprint. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we both had the frog, but only I will have it digitally.
We could drop like a custody agreement where like I get it every second weekend and then you get it through the week, but then I get like half the school holidays.
True. Yeah,
We
I
just
will
turn
say.
this card game
Hang
into
on.
family
What I
court.
will say, what's really quite interesting, is that like it does. So like a lot of times in like competitive games, right, you'll have like teams of players, right? So it's very rare that like a player will just represent themselves.
Yeah.
So it's like in competitive spaces, I mean to say. So I think it is interesting that like you could have a large team of say like 15 to 20 people, and they all have their own collections. And when great major events come up, they all just translate their collections into each other so that they can all play the important decks because they've all invested in some great way. They all have certain cards. They can now just go, okay, we all translate all of our cards in a trading fashion with our coach, and we just go, here's the decks that we're all going to play from everyone's collection. That sounds fine, but that doesn't solve anything because they could have just done that physically like every other game. But still, I mean, like, I can see that being pretty cool. I feel like this game is just, it says, hang on, what does that say right there? Play online. You also just play it online?
Yeah, they will have a digital on Board Game Arena.
Just play it online.
Yeah.
This whole game is like, it's just one too many steps for me.
Just push.
I guess it's like, look, I guess it's like competitively you just play it online, non-competitively you play cardboard, and then who cares?
Yeah.
And you said they were like unique cards. So every single card is a physically, mechanically unique card.
No. They have a unique code around
That's
them.
it. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yeah,
Again, just if you want the physical card, everybody just trade it around, request
If the
a
game
copy.
is fun and you buy cards and then you have cards, that's fine. Who even cares about the whole like online thing?
Yeah.
I guess that's the thing as well. Like, what if you like are playing it really casually with friends? You're like, we're not going to worry about training with the online stuff, and then you want to go to an event and you're like, oh well, I just don't have an account. And then that's the thing. Like, if I'm playing Magic, right, and somebody wants to come to a tournament, want to play in a tournament, and they want to play like Commander, let's say that's the format, whatever. Like, let's say it's standard. They play standard. They have a standard deck. I check to see if it's standard legal. Yep, cool. Okay, here. Sign to the event link. Oh, I don't have the companion app. Okay, well, here's how you download it. I'll sign you as a guest today, but here's how you download it. With this game, it's like, I don't have an account. Okay, well, here's how you make an account. And then download every single card in your deck to your account.
Well, even then, like, even if you go to a competitive level event with standard, like you go, deck list. Like, all right, well, you pull out Architect or Tapped Out.
Or a piece of paper.
Or a piece of paper.
Like a deck
quick
list.
add everything into the deck list, export as a deck list, print it.
Well, even then, like more importantly, stores just have pre-printed deck lists and they just write it down with physical piece of paper and they hand it straight over to you. That also works fine. Like, I don't know.
But now you need to have an internet connection to do your deck list.
Yeah. And like,
Otherwise you can't participate.
Yeah, because you have to have a connection account. Man,
it's an interesting one. It's
this
definitely
seems
a
like
head scratcher.
Yeah, for me, this is a stepping stone towards something that seems like it's going to work a lot better. I think this kind of reminds me of like the Visual Boy. That sounds like a really weird connection. But it's like the Visual Boy. It's like, you know how like that was like the stepping stone for where we are now with like the like not the I guess the Oculus specifically, but like, you know, the like Apple Eye View thing. It's like that's kind of like the Visual Boy is like this. It's like the garbage. Why would I ever use this? It gives my kids seizures. Stepping stone. This is like the same thing. I see it. I can see in the future like a physical to online game, like kind of collaborating the pair together working. I don't think this in its current form is that. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe we're also just being like essentially
maybe we're just
like
poo-pooing it.
Maybe we're just poo-pooing
we're
it.
yucking
being
someone
like,
else's
we're
yum.
like elitist here, and we're being like, oh, bro, this is stupid.
NFTs.
I believe in the supremacy of physical
look,
media.
let's just take it back to already existed that did the same thing, right? Warhammer Age of Sigmar Champions. The second that online portal turned on, so the whole idea of Age of Sigmar Champions was any card that you got physically, you could also own digitally, right?
Yes.
So you'd scan your cards, you'd be able to build just the same decks online in the online game. Now, when they finally released the online game and you were able to matchmake and start playing with that with your decks, the event stopped. I was unable to run events for it because people were like, oh, I'm just playing online now.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
And you don't need the hassle of physical cards to carry around.
You don't need to come to the event. You don't need to hang out with other people. You don't need to go see this sweaty guy called Kevin who's never shaves or showers. And instead now you're just sitting at home and
you can chill in your undies on your bed. Yeah. I think also, I don't think that's necessarily also the fault of online either, because I also think that like, what were they called again? I bring these up quite often, but it was like the Hearthstone, like the Emerald Keep or whatever it's called. Like the events Hearthstone ran. You come to a hobby shop.
Oh, Firesides.
The Firesides.
the Fireside Gatherings.
The Fireside Gatherings. Yeah, I knew you pay when you did that. That's like, I always thought like Arena, Magic Gathering Arena, and these kind of games benefited a lot from like a Fireside Gathering, like unique promos you come along and get for going to these certain events, but
they don't do it.
They don't. Well, they don't do it. I agree. I'm saying
Hearthstone did it right. Because you got an in-game promo for coming along to a Fireside Gathering.
Correct.
Right?
And I think that's what these companies can also do.
And then with Magic now going, oh well, everyone needs to play Standard. Well, guess what, bro? Like
nobody's
playing physical Standard in Australia at least.
It wouldn't be difficult for them to incorporate that kind of
absolutely
device.
And they've done it before.
I know, and I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that like these kind of games would benefit from that as kind of like from the ground up. They start with that identity of being like, no, this is still a hobby shop, like community-driven game that wants you to come along to a space to play with friends and meet friends and like kind of have experiences that you can't replicate from home on your computer or on your bed. Like that's the important thing about these games. Again, what drew people into these kind of games at the beginning is wanting to get out of the house, and wanting to do things, and wanting to have something to do between their social gatherings. You know, again, Magic Gathering was created so they could do something between games of Dungeons and Dragons. Like it's always been about getting out there, hanging out with friends, and doing things together.
Commander was made for something for people to play the games between other games of Magic.
And again, Commander being while they were setting up for different events at like GPs and such, what judges were doing to get used to the game and then like learning new interactions. This was all these things exist because of the community element. So for games to be so fixated against it are interesting. However, I'm also not saying that Altered is against that by any metric. All I'm saying is that I think that the kind of online design of this game doesn't necessarily push you towards wanting to play it at a hobby store with friends and meeting people and such, which is, again, that's like the heart and soul of these kind of this industry. So I don't know. Maybe it's really cool. Again, I want to see how this game plays. But again, if we're already talking about how it's like, look, I also think for me, it's like, I like Lorcana, I liked Keyforge, I probably would like this game, but there's something so viscerally important about like just punching into your opponent till they're dead. There's something like there's something so like, it's a game that, dude, I'd love to play more of this. I wish Duel Masters had like more of a presence here, because God, that is such a like, I guess like, it's like visual identity is so cool. Like your opponent literally sets up like a screen of shields in front of them, and you are breaking shields to get to their life total and then killing them. Like that was just such a cool identity. But you're breaking their shields, they gain those cards in their hand. It's like prize cards in Pokemon but reverse. It's like a catch-up mechanic, just so well designed to be like, how do we do something that isn't, oh, they have a life total and you go from 100 to 0? It's like, no, if you get hit, you're dead, and you hit their shields and break their shields. That's just such an important and interesting identity. And I think that that's where these games work. Like, what's the point of having a board of things like dragons and monsters and demons if they're not going to fight each other? Like, why have that? I think like Keyforge had like the Brobnar, which were like these big, like blacksmithy kind of like Viking-esque, almost like man and machine fused like guys. And they were really interesting. But then like, and their whole identity was to destroy things. They were like fighting other guys on your board and such. But like it just didn't have that same kind of identity. So for me, it's like Lorcana is a great example of something where I'm like, I don't really know what this game wants me to achieve. It's like, I'm kind of just vibing out. That game is the king of vibing out.
Yeah.
And it's like
Vibes the card game.
And that's also something, there's a market for that.
Yeah.
I think Disney is a great example of doing that because it's easy to go, how many movies do we have that are like Tangled and like Princess and the Frog, where it's like, no, people aren't really like, even like Frozen to an extent, people aren't fighting. You know, they're not like, it's not an aggressive concept. It's like, no, this is about like, you know, the growing into adulthood, or like being independent, and like, you know, familial relations.
Or in Lorcana, gaining the story lore.
Whatever it is.
Getting down to business to defeat the Huns.
Yeah, getting down to business, but not necessarily to defeat the Huns is the point I'm making. Yeah. That's a good point. I think that it's like, there are so many devices in Disney storytelling that aren't violent, because Disney defines itself by being not very violent, despite like, you know, Star Wars and such. Again, stuff they've bought, not stuff they've created themselves. Mulan being a good exception to that rule, I guess. But yeah, very normal. So it's easy to go, well, we can't just have like Hey from Mulan beating the living of Pooh Bear. We can't have that. So how do we make this work from this kind of perspective? And that's way better. So I think I really do believe... Potter.
I've had to commit murder.
Yeah. Oh, Potter. He's like grabbing the chicken's head and smashing against the pavement.
Feast on the honey that is your blood.
That's hilarious.
Pooh Bear. Anyway.
Speaking of Disney...
But yeah, so anyway, sorry. Yeah, speaking of Disney, but at the end of the day, it's, yeah, look, I like this. This game looks pretty cool. I'm seeing a lot of anime girls.
So, what's next, Dylan?
Speaking of Disney.
Oh.
Lorcana. So, obviously, we did a big announcement. Lorcana is coming. It is finally releasing in Australia and New Zealand.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about.
They have said the 23rd of August. I am not saying the 23rd of August. I'm just going to say August, because it is coming out with Set 5 release, which means...
Are we getting Set 1 and Set 5 at the same time?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
But we are getting Set 5. That is releasing in Australia and New Zealand at the same time.
Yeah.
Had a big chat with the guys who are running Organised Play for it. Really big discussion over it all.
Big discussion.
The OP kits by Set 5 are supporting a lot of players from one kit. So obviously, you know, Organised Play is always a big thing for me, making sure we're getting enough promos to hand out to our players to incentivize them to come back to us and play more games with us, because that's kind of the whole point of running a store.
Established earlier.
So yeah, really good OP plans. I've got some really great people behind it. They've got a guy who used to run, I want to say, East Asia for Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro Australia.
Okay.
Used to be a WPN lead, or like a WPN marketing lead or something for around there. And they picked up another guy who's owned and operated a few stores around Sydney over the years, and has been very big into the OP side of running games and stuff. So they've got some really good pedigree behind them on OP in Australia and New Zealand.
Okay.
It's really, really great to see what's happening. Also had a discussion with them about what's happening with sets 1 to 4. That's the first question that came up from me. I was like, cool, what about sets 1 to 4? What the f*** is that? They have said that they got enough stock. They have got enough stock of set 1 and 2, and are expecting enough stock for sets 3 and 4 to basically give 1 booster box to each store. That, and they said, and then they said to me, that is, we're not able to get any more stock. This is the only stock we've been allowed to get. And giving 1 booster box to a store doesn't actually do anything for the game. It barely does anything for the store. Unless, of course, that store's like, oh, well, I'm selling this for $2,000.
That's it, yeah.
But
you're creating that scarcity. So.
But that doesn't really do much. So they had some plans. Basically, what I've heard around from those guys and around the circles as well is that they're looking at doing what's called incubator stores. So they're going to select a few stores,
Pod people.
few stores in each state around Australia and New Zealand to act as incubator stores where they will get a large portion of stock, and that stock is purely only to run sealed and draft events.
Yep.
That's
going to be us.
Well, you know.
No, sorry, not really.
Hopefully it's us. I can't guarantee it's going to be us. I don't even know who it's going to be.
We're underground. We're really good at incubating.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, I tell people that. I'm like, Vault Games, we're an incubator store for a lot of stuff. I always tell people that. I'm always saying that we're incubating some real shit down here.
We are an incubus.
Yeah, no.
Well,
we don't.
hold up.
Nobody
No,
says that.
no.
Connor, nobody says that.
Yeah.
And, sorry, jump in the description below. Jump in the comments below and let us know if you've ever said that.
Whatever tomorrow brings.
Stop.
I'll be
So yeah, they're talking about doing incubator stores. And to run those sealed and draft events in stores around large population centers to kind of promote the game more, get more people talking about the game, playing the game, and that kind of spreads out. I do understand that, you know, not everyone is able to do that and get to those population centers, but let's be real here. This is Australia. There is not a store like every 5 kilometers.
No.
There is not a town every 5 kilometers. In fact, for large portions of Australia, you drive for an hour and all you are is an hour away from another town, from the town you left. So yeah, I think the incubator store thing's a really good idea. I really hope that the stores they picked, be it us or not, do keep to that requirement of running sealed and draft. Please do not sell the boosters, because the key to making this game a success is by having people play it.
Man, that's crazy. Who would have known that?
Who thought that a game is successful by people playing the game?
Dylan, stop saying such controversial stuff. This is not a controversial podcast, man.
Sorry.
You're saying some crazy stuff. So
yeah, August,
hopefully, we'll see how things go. That's exciting.
If you're based in Australia, we have there's a blog post to be linked down below. There's a link on there to sign up for an email form as well to get notified as soon as products become available or events become available to book. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've played some Lorcana. You've played some Lorcana.
I love Lorcana.
Connor has not played some Lorcana, I don't think.
Played any Lorcana.
I do have 2 structure decks if you ever want to have a game, man. It's great fun.
There we go.
I'm
If you
probably
like
going to look
Keyforge, you'll
at
like it.
Yeah.
probably going to look at bringing in 2 of the 3 structure decks I have at home to act as a demo. I got to
Is
try
there
and
any
convince.
Treasure Planet stuff?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I found, sorry, just very quickly, I also found 2 boxes of old Keyforge stuff.
Ooh.
Like my old Keyforge decks, I bought actually, I think it was like the store was going down. So like, maybe it was like Fast Break Sports actually when they went away.
Yeah.
I think I bought like really cheap, like 2 boxes of like one of the sets. I think it's like it's like the second set.
Age
anyway,
of Wonders? Or?
Age something. And I bought a bunch of their stuff. And like, I had like
Age of Ascension.
Age of
Ascension. There we go.
Yeah, and I bought like 2 booster boxes. So I have like a bunch of Keyforge decks I found. I was like, this could be pretty cool. Anyway, it just reminded me of that because Lorcana is very Keyforge. It's like Keyforge.
Strong Keyforge code.
Yeah, it's like Keyforge if they said, instead of having 3 steps to win the game, it's just 1 step. Because like Keyforge was like 6 amber for a key and then 3 keys to win, and then Lorcana is 20 amber to win. It's like you don't like that's the thing about it. It was like Keyforge is a weird dynamic.
You can also
where it's
build your
like,
own deck.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's constructed. Yeah, Keyforge is a different game. But I'm saying that the core mechanics of winning and losing the game is that you have amber make keys. Whereas with Keyforge, it was like you would get keys and they were interactable. So your opponent could be like, I'm going to Diz, because I love Diz, and it's so nasty. I'm going to like blow up your key. And they always gave you amber back for your key.
Yeah.
But it was like, so you have to then Keyforge again. That was an action.
Yeah.
So you have to do it again. You can only do it once a turn. So, you know what I mean? It was like, you'd have to do that. So that was quite interesting. And then in Lorcana, it's just like, no, you just have this many. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's quite good. I think Keyforge can be very hard to pick up and kind of grip. I think Disney Lorcana, for obvious reasons, is super easy to pick up and play.
I also remember the presentation that they had down there. They kind of said that they've got sets planned out so far to 2027. I think they've started R&D on the sets leading up to 2027.
That's
amazing.
Good. So they're sticking with it despite all the knocks, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's
yeah.
you have to,
Yeah.
right? You have to. It would. I can't imagine their reputation would be good. Would be was like good standings if they kind of gave up on it now after all of that. You know what I mean? You just got to kind of stick with it.
Yeah. Look, they have the head publisher Ravensburger has said that they want to break the top 3, which is Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh.
And that is a monumental task in of itself.
Bless them.
Yeah.
My basic advice to them over that was to get a time machine and go back to set 1 and make sure there's no production problems.
Just carve out that niche for themselves and then just
Look,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's getting into the top 3 without. I think we had this discussion when we talked about Locana last. Was that the only way someone's getting into the top 3 is if Flesh and Blood carve off enough of the Yu-Gi-Oh crowd that Yu-Gi-Oh drops its player numbers.
Yeah, I think it's. I think things need to happen to Yu-Gi-Oh in order for that to be true. However, I will say that since that discussion, and also just in because I've been following Yu-Gi-Oh a lot recently, very heavily. The way Yu-Gi-Oh is currently looking as well, it seems that while the card game is huge from a player point standpoint, it seems like the current modern format, the current kind of what you would consider their standard format, but it's again modern Yu-Gi-Oh does look like it's going in that direction. It does look like it's kind of pulling away, seeping down. I wouldn't necessarily. I think it is very plausible for Lorcana to get into that top 3, but again, it's almost not really a game they're playing. It's a game that Konami is playing.
Yeah,
it's not a game they're playing.
It won't be because they did well. It'll be because one of the top 3 stumbled.
Yeah, I think so too. But it will be. I think it'll be because they did well and one of the top 3 stumbled. But I think Lorcana, obviously, just being a Disney game, is just going to be so big to begin with. Yeah. I think that's nothing as well. I think no matter what,
universally recognized set of IP. It's
yeah. It's big enough to get the chance.
Yeah.
And also to be fair as well, they kicked off their game with a bunch of probably once upon a time were huge, but probably weaker parts of their IP. You know what I mean? We had the Frozen stuff that's just come out as they've started picking up, but again, it's in your structure checks, you got the Snow White and Beauty and the Beast
classics,
and Princess and the Frog,
the Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
The second set I think had the whole Mickey Mouse Musketeers.
Yeah, the Musketeers. So I think that's I think they also understand that, and they're
they're taking their time.
Yeah, they're taking their time, and then it's we'll come around and we'll get Moana, and we'll get we got some Moana stuff, but full on Moana. I'm talking Encanto.
Yep. Cars.
We'll go into
bringing in
Pixar.
Yeah.
That's when I think the IP
Monsters,
will.
Inc.
Yeah, Monsters Inc. That's when it'll start really selling people.
Because I think the big purchaser base nowadays is anywhere between the 25 to 45-year-olds that grew up on Disney Pixar.
Yeah.
Not Snow White and Peter Pan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think they know what they're doing too. Well, obviously they know what they're doing, but I'm saying
Rollers and Kingdom Hearts.
Dude, honestly. Yeah, do the crossover
Onto,
with Final Fantasy.
Phoenix, yeah.
I'm going to play my Tifa and Cloud in Lorcana.
My Leon Gunblade.
Yeah.
Combo.
Leon's Gunblade.
I saw a great comic today that was is it Sora is the key for the Kingdom Hearts guy?
Yeah, Sora from Kingdom
Sora,
Hearts.
yeah.
Sora.
I haven't played Kingdom Hearts.
That's Roxas.
I've played a sad amount of Kingdom Hearts.
But Sora, Daffy, and Goofy walking into the hospital room from
Daffy?
Yeah.
From Looney Tunes?
Not Daffy.
Donald.
Donald. It was a big crossover event. All right.
Thora.
Sure.
That's a
We
crossover
have
I
to
want
kill
to say.
Sephiroth.
Rockford.
I say that even.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of stumbling blocks, let's talk about probably what I found out as being the biggest stumbling block of this year so far. And, I say so far because it's only February. We found out. So another supply meeting we had was with Let's Play Games, the biggest distributor of board games in Australia, and tabletop products. They told us that Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast have discontinued players' handbooks
For 5th edition.
for 5th edition D&D. Now that makes sense, right? 5th edition revised D&D 1 is coming out this year. But on the same, an hour after our rep told us, oh, hey, by the way, players' handbooks are discontinued, so whatever stock we're getting in the next month is that's it.
Yeah.
And we may not get any more stock until Revised comes out. One thing to note is they are already on back order at our supplier. So I got a feeling that whatever Players Handbooks we have now are it. Because an hour after they told us, D&D announced that Revised comes out in September.
Oh, jeez.
For those at home, it is February.
It is February when we're recording this. So that is 7 months without any Players Handbooks.
Like the most important book.
Yeah.
Yeah, the book you need to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
But it's Dylan, it's free on D&D Beyond.
Players Handbook?
Yeah.
Not the whole Players Handbook.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, if you just make an account, you get the Players Handbook. But it's free on D&D Beyond. But it doesn't change the fact that you want the physical book. And not everyone has D&D
The
Beyond.
hobby stores,
And
that-
also
that-
the product that makes us money. You know what I mean? Especially if it's somebody who's like, I want to get something for my son who wants to get Dungeons and Dragons. He's never played before, but his friends want to play. What should I get him? Well, that's the most obvious decision.
Well, now you're going to have to wait half a year to get the new
Over
version
that.
because we haven't even
if
got,
it arrives when
Yeah,
it's meant
if it-
to.
yeah, exactly.
If there's no production issues, because we're still waiting for Deck of Many Things to arrive.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
Deck of Many Things is currently sitting in a warehouse right now, but it is waiting for Hasbro to send over the replacement packs of cards that we now have to ship with any pre-orders or any orders, or hand over the counter to anyone that purchases the Deck of Many Things.
Is that crazy?
Which is a replacement Deck of Many Things. That's like, hey, guess what? You get like double the cards now, except half the cards aren't right.
They're built different.
So yeah, that's fun
Wrong.
and exciting. That's a good stumbling point. Other side though, Star Wars RPG starter sets are here.
Let's go, dude.
Finally,
Yes.
Edge has managed to get Star Wars RPG starter sets. So Age of Rebellion, Age of Empire, and Force and Destiny starter sets all arriving in Australia. I actually think
Very
some of the
exciting.
first batches here already.
Brilliant.
Because we saw them down at Toyfair as well. Still waiting on when the books are coming. Our rep said that Edge has said the books are coming. To be fair,
The books
Edge
are
has said the
coming.
books are coming for the last 3 years. But the starter sets are definitely on their way. There is a date at our suppliers. I forget what that date is, but I'm not going to say that date even if I knew it because
Not
when is it going to
you.
happen?
Honestly.
When is it actually going to happen? I've been let down too much. But yeah, Star Wars RPG is a great system playing Star Wars. It was the precursor to Genesis. It's kind of how Genesis was built. It is an awesome system. And I do enjoy playing it. I play D20 mostly though because that's a system that I grew up on and I know and can easily like translate to. But I'm even considering shifting any games I'm running in
So, yeah, I
D20
played
across now.
a lot of that Star Wars, and a good friend of mine, Mike from Q&K, he did a lot of play testing for Star Wars. So
That's great.
His name's actually credited in a lot of the source books.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah,
Let me just pick up that name you dropped.
It's-
Thanks.
Yeah, I think
So,
about
yeah.
that there.
yeah.
So Star Wars RPG sets coming. That's fine.
Very exciting. Genesis, we talked about it earlier. It's a great system. Doesn't matter what it's connected to. It's just very open-ended. It's fun because it's very focused on role-playing and it has multifaceted dice.
Yeah,
you.
that dual fate system that they're running on it
Yeah.
is just it's kind of perfect.
It's like
it's a
solved.
welcome. It's the 50-50 of role playing and mechanics.
Yeah, which is what you need.
Like D&D is like D&D 4th is mechanics over role playing.
Yeah.
D&D 5th is leaning a little bit more towards role playing over mechanics. I'd say probably anything like Powered by the Apocalypse is very role playing over mechanics.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. I think if even saying let's be fair to 5th edition and say it's leaning over, but it really isn't. Like 5th edition is still a very mechanical focused game. Like a lot of people will always talk about how like 5th
Target
edition
number roll to hit.
Yeah, it's
and-
roll the dice, do the thing.
Yeah, 5th edition is very much like a war game disguised as a role-playing game. Dungeons & Dragons kind of in general has been for many years a war game disguised as a role-playing game.
mean,
And this has become
fourth
more
edition.
obvious when you look at these games like Genesis and look at these games like Powered by the Apocalypse, which are
Yeah.
very much like, no.
You have to actually embody the character.
You're
You
all
have
about
to
the role play.
interpret the
Yeah.
results to fitting the scene.
And
Which
It's really good.
I also understand that interpreting results is a dodgy kind of ship to be riding on. I think it's a dodgy thing where it's like, oh, but everyone can interpret things differently and that can make the game like different experiences of different people. And it's like, that's the point. I don't know. That's the point. So who knows?
That's a really good value.
Well, yeah.
Those starter boxes, like you get the map.
Get a mini
tiles and
adventure that takes
everything,
about 2 hours to play if you're familiar with it.
and it's probably the best way to get the actual dice.
Yeah. Still no word on the dice reprints, by the way.
Which is truly the one bad side about Genesis is that it does use its own dice.
Yeah.
Technically, of course, you can just be like, like here's a use a table.
They
on
do
a
have
D-
the conversion
They
table.
do have a
in the
conversion
books,
table.
but it's a pain in the ass compared to just looking at the symbols. And
Yeah.
being, I have this many of this many.
Because even looking at the symbols, you kind of go like, hang on, give me a second. This is going to be cool. That's what happens.
There's
Like,
a
even
little
that
bit,
sometimes I find myself going like, like a full 15 seconds past me working out what the numbers are. But if I had to convert it first and then do that, it's like, oh my God.
But like,
Anyway.
yeah, just the variance in the dice system I like. Because
Yeah,
you
definitely.
can succeed downwards or you can fail upwards. Like,
Exactly. And I think that's so important.
Yeah.
Often look at how role-playing games end up being. There's a lot of failing forwards.
yeah.
So the game being like, no, there's a mechanical way to fail backwards and a mechanical way to fail forwards and succeed backwards. That's kind of important stuff too. Yep, cool. Love Genesis.
That's cool. That's pretty much it that came out of them. You know, they tried to get me to stock One Piece. And
Wait,
I
One
was-
Piece?
Yeah, the One Piece card game.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like, no, not
Lest we
happening.
forget. Anyway,
Yeah.
what about Digimon? Is there anything new and exciting in the world of the Digimon trading card
They
Digital
game?
did try to get
monsters.
me to stock that too, and the answer was still no.
Digimon are the champions. Digimon,
we're not
digital
stocking the
monsters
game.
Digimon.
are the champions.
And that's not because of the anime issues. It's just not a great game.
Digital world.
That's all right. No, that's fine. I'll let that one person in the comments call me out on that.
I am that one person.
Yeah, call them out in the comments, everyone who loves the Digimon card game. Yeah, it's whatever. It's mid.
Yeah. it's-
Digimon's cool though.
Yeah.
wish Digimon
yeah, there
were
should be like
real.
a skin for Genesis for
Digimon.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They should be.
Anyway, the final booth that we actually spent some time in,
Because this is our favorite company.
We visited a whole bunch of booths and
Yep.
saw a whole bunch of cool stuff, but this is like one of the few booths that we actually spent time in to chat to people on there. And this was a booth that I was denied from at first, Hasbro, but using
What did Hasbro have to
old
say?
industry contacts. We saw some really cool. Like obviously,
Like?
you know, half of the
Yeah.
booth was like nothing to
Transformers.
us. Like it was just a bunch of toys like Furbies and stuff, and it's just we don't care about that.
Furbies?
We're not stocking Furbies or
I
any
know
of
you're
that.
not. But is there anything new happening in the world of Furbies that we should know about?
No,
He wouldn't know.
I wouldn't
He
know. I didn't bother
know.
looking.
Yeah.
One
Furby
thing that
fans
was
call
okay,
out.
but here's the thing that was very interesting. All right, Beyblade.
Ooh.
So they're relaunching Beyblade as Beyblade X.
Beyblade X.
Coming at you.
He
Now,
put in a little bit too much of
the-
Beyblade X.
They actually let us play Beyblade as well. It was really cool.
Who won? You or Cass?
Me, I won every match.
Okay, whoa. This is
you
why
got
he
the
likes
mad rip
Beyblade.
technique.
That's why he likes
I had
Beyblade
the
so much.
much.
technique.
Yeah.
I modified the Beyblade build a little bit. It was just like, yeah, I got
Go
this.
for more of an offensive build.
Yeah, I think
Metal
I think it
Gear
was an
ring.
evasive. But
Yeah.
the really interesting about so let's talk about what's happening with Beyblade.
Yeah, what's new?
What's new? They are changing how the arena works. So the arena itself now has like these teeth around the edge that loop into a center thing that kind of launches it back in. So rather than evasive Beyblades kind of just looping around the arena edge and then the defensive Beyblade sitting in the center for 20 minutes while you wait for the things to spin down. Now, if anything gets to the outer edge, there's teeth on the Beyblade itself on the top part.
Yep.
When I say top, like the point part,
The disc?
Yeah.
not on the disc, on the point,
On the nub.
on the nub. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, on the nub,
And then
yeah.
if it reaches that edge, it's going to lock into those teeth and then
A track. It just goes.
and then track around and launch into the center again and fight again.
Cool.
So a lot faster gameplay, a lot of big hits. They're all metal as well.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
So
Get the sparks.
two metal parts and then the plastic tip. What's the company that is it? Taka. I got to look it up to make sure.
Takahashi.
Tecmo Koei.
Beyblade.
Yeah.
Tecmoe.
Anyway. Tecmoana.
Um,
But yeah, that's cool. Good shake up for the Beyblade meta.
Yes, and they're also, there's a new anime coming out for Beyblade, so they're really pushing that as well.
Of course.
Takara Tomy.
Takara Tony.
So the Japanese Beyblades were all like metal like tops and middles.
Yeah.
And the US ones were plastic because of, it's the US. And Australia had the US ones as well.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah, I
that's
hated the
English
plastic ones. They
language.
were lame.
But now we're getting the Beyblade X metal Beyblades
Nice.
across all markets.
So we're going to be doing a lot of
Make toys
events for
ding.
Beyblade X. Maybe socking Beyblade X.
Well, here's the thing. The WPN guys at Hasbro Australia
Here we go.
are now involved in an organized play for Beyblade X.
And, you know, if there's two ways to get Dylan very excited, it's organized play.
So there is a chance. I'm looking into it. Okay. So here's my thing.
Okay.
Hasbro was running a Wizards Play Network style OP system in Oceania and Pacific, which would include like bonuses for coming in store and getting like promo parts, all that kind of stuff. The big thing that I got to look into is what does the Beyblade community look like? So if you have experience with the Beyblade community, let me know in the comments, because my big concern is there's a reason we don't run Smash Brothers in the store.
Beyblade players getting called out right now. We don't
So
even know
I
what they
just
look
wanna-
like. And you're already telling them they're Smash players, man.
No, I just want to make sure that they're not going to be screaming and throwing their Beyblades at our heritage listed wall.
That's a good point. Look, I guess, okay. I just want to play Beyblades, man. This looks really cool.
It looks cool. Actually, you know what's really cool? Connor, there is a photo in the Discord. If you want to right click on the, you see on the right, just right click on the photo and open the image in URL or whatever it is.
You copy message link, maybe?
Oh, click the image.
Click in the image.
And then down the bottom, open in browser. Yep. Perfect. Is that actually coming up?
Yeah.
No, because it's not the.
Okay.
Well, then drag the top
It doesn't
tab
matter, it's
into
fine.
the incognito tab. Okay.
All right. Check this out. This was at a tournament in Singapore. This all got shared with me by my contact. And this is a 9-year-old girl playing in a store's Beyblade organized play tournament, and she is letting it rip. She came third overall, but this massive one-day tournament that went for like 8 hours, and the whole time she's giving it that pure Beyblade energy.
Yeah. That's what you want.
Hey, makes me want to play.
That there is like, she looks like an anime character in
That's
the sense
exactly.
like she's doing it.
reigniting like your childhood wonderment of just like
that power stance, letting it rip.
There's definitely like, it reminds me of golf in the sense that there's like definitely an actual art to the
code.
way. No, not a dress code. Anyway, there's an actual art to like the form. There's a real form to it that matters a lot.
It really lends itself to spectating as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sure. Yeah.
So I think Beyblade is also a really strong like spectator sport.
Oh, surely. Yeah.
But I don't know. See, that's my big concern is about what the Beyblade community looks like. Am I saying that we're not going to build our own? No, like we would build our own Beyblade community as well. I just don't want.
Is there even like, you say I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna put the shovel down for you. But I don't think like who's playing Beyblade in the Brisbane region anyway. That's what I think. Like I don't even know any hobby stores that are running Beyblade events or any places that run Beyblade stuff. Like I don't know of a Beyblade event, so we'd probably be ground up. I think.
might be ground
it's
up.
a field of dreams.
And look,
Build it
again,
and
it's
they will
like
come.
we're literally just you're throwing metal discs into a hole. Like,
To a
the-
plastic-
to a
a plastic dish.
Like
Yeah.
it'll be fine. We'll just play Beyblades. Like, the other day, if we just get a table and get a couple of Beyblades together, we just play some Beyblade in the store. That'd be fun. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I think.
You know
I
what
think
would be really good for the lock-in. It's one of those kind of lock-in games. I think it'd be great
Oh
for you.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
actually, okay. Here's the thing. It's the 10th anniversary of All Games this year
Oh, that's right.
as a company.
Dude, congratulations.
Yeah, 8 years as a physical store, 10 years as a company. Do we put Beyblade on the list?
Surely.
Beyblade's back on the menu, boys.
All right.
Let it rip.
You know what?
Let's
This
fight
discussion,
an epic battle.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at it.
I'll go
Dude,
in.
I'm gonna
if
start
you stock
actually,
it,
like-
I'll go in.
Should go in anyway. It's just fun.
Well, I'll
Come
go
on
to
to
Mr.
lock-in.
Toys and see if they've got some, and if they do,
Yeah, I'll get some.
Well, one of our suppliers just already has Beyblade stuff.
We should have a look at. I'll look at the supply, see what I can get, see what cool stuff I can get.
I want my Full Metal Dragoon.
But the other thing,
Dragoon.
the other thing that we saw, and we had to actually go into, we had to hand in our phones before we went into this room.
oh, wow.
Oh,
It
Jesus.
was a whole bunch of secret we aren't allowed to talk about.
Cool.
But they've announced some of it. There's stuff in there, obviously, that I don't know if they've announced, so I'm not going to talk about it. But the one thing that I will talk about is Talisman.
Yay!
So, you know, it's a fan favorite game. Everyone has their stories of Talisman. Some people really enjoy the game. Others loathe the fact that they spend 3 hours just trying to cross that bridge. Why did I roll a 3? I needed a 2. But the game is finally getting a reprint. It's been out in the wilds since Pegasus Spiel lost the license, because Fantasy Flight lost the license, because it's Games Workshop game. It's whatever. It's getting reprinted. Hasbro has now taken over the license. So they're reprinting Talisman.
Very cool.
There is
Very
new
cool.
art. There is brand new sculpts for all the minis as well, for all the characters in it.
Almost like what they did with Hero Quest.
Yeah. Except the art itself though it's classic, just like Hero Quest. It looks like classic Talisman.
It's like reinvigorating the old art.
Exactly, yeah. And you know what? It actually looks really good.
Dope.
Yeah.
And the price point is much better.
Oh, thank God.
It's priced at a mass produced level. You know, I'm not saying that it's going to be like $20 at Big W, like Monopoly is. But it is like, it's not going to be, $70. I don't think it's going to be $70 or $80. Well, that depends on what it is when it gets to our supply chains.
We will not confirm any prices on this.
But I'm
episode.
not expecting it to be like ridiculously overpriced.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. I enjoy a game of Talisman every now and then. I've got Relic at home from the 40k Talisman version.
Yep.
And I think Star Wars Talisman sitting up there somewhere.
It is
So
indeed.
it is.
So, yeah, I actually do enjoy the game. I find it quite enjoyable.
It's a classic.
Until I have those really annoying days where I can't cross the bridge.
You're just on that
and then I
outer
don't
ring
play
the
it.
whole game.
Yeah, and then I don't play it for 6 months. But, I like it. I'm looking forward to seeing it again. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that want to get their hands on a copy of Talisman or bring it to the world of other people who have not experienced both the joys and frustrations of Talisman. Have you played Talisman before?
No. I'm not really sure what you're talking about.
Really? You don't know Talisman?
I don't know it at all.
Pull that shit up.
I've seen the Star Wars Talisman up there, and I can see it now. No idea what you're talking about.
Talisman.
Remember, when you said to me, right, so when you first came back from Toyfair, you said to me, everyone at home, Dylan says to me, he's like, so I can't tell you much, Trent. I can't really tell you much,
There's
but
a
hey,
Kingdom Hearts Talisman.
Yeah.
I'd play that.
That's crazy.
We actually had that for a while.
Oh, what? I really wasted my opportunity.
Yeah, look.
Anyway, so the point being is, I was like, you came to me like, so I can't tell you much, Trent, but I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you, there's a new game an old game, sorry, a classic. It's getting reinvigorated. Hasbro just got the license, man. And I was like, that's cool. He's like, do you want to guess what it is? I'm like, I have no idea. He's like, I'll give you a hint. It's a Games Workshop game. And I was like, Warhammer? I was like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, Talisman. And I was like,
I'm like, it starts with a T, man.
that's right. You're like, it starts with a T. And that's right. You were like, and I was like, Trent?
No, it's really great. It's got three, like, the aim of the game is to get to the center and complete the last round, like the last line through the center. That image that you have over there is someone who's done a really insane job of playing with every expansion to the game. Yeah. But there's like a field border, and then there's like an inner ring, and then there's the main like throne room area kind of thing.
Yo.
And you basically build your characters you play. You like.
I assume that board
defeat
right there
monsters.
is not Talisman. I assume that's like
no.
a very comprehensive homemade board.
That is, yeah.
Talisman Island.
Can't just bring up the images he wants to bring up.
Yeah, can you bring up actual Talisman images? That'd be great.
That is Talisman.
Oh, please.
There you go. That's
There you
That's
go.
the Talisman you'll play.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you level up your character, you defeat monsters, you come up against challenges, you barter and trade goods.
That sounds pretty cool.
And you level up your
that's fun.
character so that you're strong enough to defeat the challenges you face as you go into the difficult areas. So Outer Rim.
It's like Munchkin.
It's like Munchkin,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is a Munchkin.
There is a lot of times where you're like, I could move this monster left onto you or right away from you. Left it is. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a take that to it.
That's cool. Look, it looks really fun. Yeah, I have a weird relationship with board games. I have the funky serotonin diffuser in my brain that says like I have to really commit myself to like a project. Like I like my war games, my card games, because I can be like, I can just do this for 10 years over 15,000 hours. But when it comes to board games, I find myself like, yeah, I play this like 3 or 4 times every so often, and then I'll go and play some other board game, and just overworks me, gets me riled up. And the storage space and such for having hobbies and having board games is just like, you have nowhere to, you can't move in my house. Like, so I find myself having a problem with having too many board games in my house. So yeah, I have a bit of a weird relationship with them. So Talisman might be something that I pull down and give a shot. I definitely would like Kingdom Hearts Talisman because I'm really a shill for Kingdom Hearts games. I've played them all too many times. I love Kingdom Hearts, and I'm one of the only people in the world who unironically likes Kingdom Hearts. And even I didn't like 3. That's okay. No, look. Anyway, Talisman, that looks really cool. And everything you explained to me is the kind of game I would enjoy. So maybe I do give that a shot, especially when the new stuff comes out. You know what I mean? That would give me the opportunity to be able to access it again. Because from my perspective as well, Talisman was also just an old game that I couldn't buy.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing that
it is an old game. It's like 8 or 9 expansions to it as well. Like Fantasy Flight Games produced all of the expansions as well. So if you've got them, hold on to them. But you know, it's a really fun game.
I assume they'll also be plug and play for the new edition or the new version.
I think the rules haven't changed.
Yeah,
because Fantasy
it's
Flight
like a re-release.
Fantasy Flight I think tightened the rules to a point now where it was fine. Like they cleared a lot of the old like dumb stuff and wishy-washy.
Well, that's
rules.
like when Hero Quest got its new edition. They didn't really change much. They added like 2 or 3 cards, but then they were reworded like everything, so it was like way more easy to understand.
And then I think that's kind of why Fantasy Flight re-released all the expansions for it as well, and then added a few of their own. Yeah, like in conjunction with Games Workshop.
And then that's also why they have these like, you know, Relics, Star Wars, Kingdom Hearts, like all the other Talisman games as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That is from a group called USOP. The OP now, I think they're called. The originally called USOpoly. They're a company that all they do is they license IP, and then they license games, and then they go, now kiss.
I have an apple. I have a pen.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, Talisman looks really cool, guys. And if you're at home excited for Talisman, you let us know. That's really cool.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's all the cool stuff we saw, and the news from Toyfair. Other cool stuff. An indie board game called That Sound Game. From some people down south.
I've played that one.
I think they're in Melbourne. They actually won Australia Toy Fair's Best Board Game Award.
Nice.
Which is really great. That it's really awesome. Like because of the board game publishing I used to do, I'm still keyed into the like tabletop game designers groups, and to see their journey from, hey guys, how do I lay out a rule book, to now being named one of the best Australian games, and now basically I think they're getting into like Walmart in the States or something like that, or Target in the States, and they're now busting into Europe as well. It's really great to see an Australian company, an Australian product doing that. It's insane.
It's a really fun game. Like I've played quite a few games of That Sound Game.
Yeah,
it is so funny. It is so good.
Yeah,
like
it's a really great casual party game.
Yeah, if it's one of those like in the realm of Cards Against Humanity, but if you want to just like watch you and your mates do some nonsense sounds, it's great. It's just like a better version of charades, if anything.
What is the premise of this game?
It's just basically cards that you have to make sounds and have your team guess them, I believe.
It's very simple.
It's very simple. It's
this
like
is the best
charades.
game in
It's
Australia.
almost like Trivial Pursuit with the different categories.
Yeah,
but it'll just give you like a phrase or an item or just a word, and you can only use sounds and you can't use words.
Yeah,
you can only
so
use sounds
it's a bit like it's a bit like Poetry for the Neanderthals.
Yeah,
in that
I was about to
respect.
say Poetry for the Neanderthals.
Oh, that's also
pretty
a
good.
fun one.
Yeah, we played that a lot. But okay, cool. Yeah, cool. But yeah, you just make these sounds and they have to guess what it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, I assume that the cards have like a difficulty, and then there's some like very esoteric examples.
There are definitely some hard ones. I had to enact the sounds of a tsunami, and that was fun because then I had to interpretively dance as if I was a wave while I'm making like sounds and people screaming.
So why do you have to do the interpretation? Why do you have to do the dance of a wave?
Because he can't, I guess because Connor doesn't have the capabilities of making just sound.
He can't just make like whoosh.
I did that, but they thought it was everything but.
Oh.
I tried everything in my power to be like big wave, and I was like, no, I had to move my lumbering body, bring that image to life.
So you cheated.
Also, yes.
Yeah, that's not a sound.
We had a few libations beforehand, so it's a very loose
this game is very fun. I love this game a lot. If I cheat and we make the rules up, it's like whose line is it anyway? But for like That Sound Game,
one time.
This is the best. This is the best game in Australia, by the way.
Yeah, and then
it's the most Australian game.
I don't know.
It does sound like a very Australian game.
There's some very niche stuff as well. There's a Mancala style game that's coming from Europe.
I don't know what a Beyblade is, but I don't know why they're talking about it so much. Very niche stuff. Very niche
since
stuff.
Like high school.
Yeah. It's like a game where you're picking up glass beads from a river that have been like refined by tumbling down a river, and then trying to get the right beads to fill out your set collection, your tile placement.
It's Azul.
It's kind of Azul-y, but it's also like a Mancala style movement
There
of
is no
things you're
Mancala,
leaving.
only
thing-
Azul.
There's only Azul. What's well, I used to play a game that I really enjoyed, and it was like you had like dominoes, but they had like symbols on them. You like match up the symbols, and and it had like really like funny designs, like animals and like things that you'd connect. I think it's like you would find the same symbols and remove those, and they would be yours.
Some mahjong.
Mahjong. I play a lot of mahjong. Okay. It's so funny. It's okay.
No, for me it was just like, wait, that's mahjong. I was like,
You said
yeah, it was
Mancala.
mahjong.
It made me think of mahjong.
Yeah.
I played a lot of mahjong growing up.
You know, it's a game that I've never played that I kind of want to, just to round out my board game knowledge, is backgammon. I've never played backgammon in my
Okay,
life.
we actually got a game in
Yeah.
yesterday that came about from seeing it at Toyfair.
Yeah.
It's called Story Time Backgammon.
Okay.
So it is a
Story time.
narrative like board game that uses backgammon as its mechanics.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't play backgammon ever, and then as an adult, I was like, I really want to try backgammon. And my brother had recently gotten very much into backgammon, and he was like, and Jack and I, my brother's name is Jack, obviously. We grew up a lot with us playing a lot of games together, and like I said, I like to spend 15,000 hours over 10 years in learning a game. So I'd learn games very quickly and very, very heavily. And my brother would be like, I'm gonna play a game. So we play a game, and then we play. By the time we got to the fourth game, he'd just be losing every game. And we grew up very quickly being like, we have to play a new game, Trent, because I don't play with you anymore. We're 10 games deep, and you won the last 5 games. I'll play with you anymore. So then he was like, oh, Trent, you want to learn backgammon, eh? And I'm like, yeah. Like, how many games have you played? Oh, like 400. Do you have a game of backgammon? I was like, yeah, sure. And dude, he just destroyed me in backgammon. And he annihilated me like 10 games in a row of backgammon. And I was like, I don't want to play backgammon anymore.
The judge, the divine
The
retribution.
divine retribution.
And Jack being so good at backgammon is now why he is on the run from Eastern European mafias.
Yeah. He's very good at backgammon. I was so surprised. Like, damn. Yeah, down to an art.
But bro, if he ever played mahjong,
Yeah, I would beat him in mahjong. But yeah, no. He slapped me in backgammon.
Cool.
snakes and ladders man myself.
Yeah, that's a very comprehensive game, Snakes and Ladders.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool. That's pretty much it from Toyfair. Nothing else is really. Everything else is just like a bunch of board games. There's a lot of. I was about to say there's a lot of toys at Toyfair, but that's very obvious.
It feels like goes without saying.
Yeah.
But however you said it.
I said it.
He really did say it, Chad.
Yeah. I think it was the first like proper industry thing I've gone to. 10 years of Vault. First proper industry thing. Like PAX, we go to PAX nearly every year, and that's just kind of for us to have fun. And then we meet up with some contacts while we're down there and do some industry stuff anyway. But like to actually go to a dedicated convention for industry and talk about industry with suppliers, and not just like, oh, hey, how's your week? Like actually go through like all these new products and what's happening.
Sign NDAs, go to panels.
Ignore them. No, I didn't ignore them.
For legal reasons, that's a joke.
For legal reasons, that's a joke.
For legal reasons, there's not medical advice.
Getting turned away from
Getting
a booth.
getting turned away from a booth. Getting invited to an exclusive presentation for Disney Lorcana.
Can you see some cool cards?
No, they just showed. They were like, we're going to show you how to play Lorcana now, and then there was like half of the tables available for the people that were there, and they all had like Lorcana decks on them, and they were all set. They were first chapter. They were first chapter decks, which is kind of annoying. I was like, oh, I could stay, or I could go to industry drinks at Fortress.
Fortress.
And considering that everyone had already run over to the started running over to the tables, and I was like, I've already got like one of these decks. I don't really. It'd be nice to have the other two, but it's okay. Industry drinks it was at Fortress, which was good fun. So
I love Fortress. One of the only things I really miss about living in Melbourne. Fortress.
Yeah, it's an interesting business.
Setup. Yeah. They kind of tick a lot of boxes with all the computer games and then the tabletop and
Yeah.
the drinks and the food's kind of mid, but like
my big confusion lies in how they make money.
well, they do like at least in Melbourne one, they do esports events there, and they tend to pack those out pretty.
Guffed at esports events.
Yeah, that's true.
Look where that got them.
R.I.P. Guff. God, I miss that place sometimes.
I do miss that place.
Burn.
I wish I could go hang out at Guff more often. I got stuck with this fucking Vault place.
Yeah.
God, I miss Guff so much.
Ridiculous.
It was just better than waiting for the train at Vortitu Valley. Like, you just go up there and play video games for a few hours until the train starts.
And you still have the random, like, crackhead rock up and start screaming at the counter staff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember one time we had this guy come in because I was good friends with CJ and such, and I don't know if this is like a conversation I can really have, but anyway, I remember like we were hanging out. And it was like way late because we were running Yu-Gi-Oh! And like Wednesday night Yu-Gi-Oh! Went to really late, and they would close up actually. That Wednesday night they didn't have it overnight, and then CJ's like, "Oh, packing up to you, packing everything up," and he goes, "This guy like comes up, and it's like 3 flights of stairs. The guy comes up, and he's very disheveled, and you could tell this guy doesn't really know where he is, and he's like, all right, I'm just gonna come hang out," and he goes, "Oh no, I'm sorry, mate," and this guy, as he's talking, this guy sits down in a chair, just like a ram chair nearby. I think CJ goes, no, mate, we're actually closing up for the night. And then this guy looks, I shit you not, he just goes, "Yeah, mate, me too." And then passes out on the chair. And CJ's like, "Ha, mate, no, I'm closing up for the night." And we're like, we got all my bags, and I'm walking out, and I'm like, I turn around, I'm just like enjoying the show. She's like, "No, mate, you gotta get out of here." And he's like, just tries to just sleep in the store. He's like, "I just found a nice place to be." Anyway, just very funny. Just the way he's like, "Yeah, me too, mate." The
valley is wild.
The valley's wild. It's a wild place. Fortune Valley? No, you don't want to live there.
Cool. Anyway, let us know in the comments what interesting stuff you've heard about that you're excited about.
What did you see at Toyfair?
What did you see at Toyfair? What did you see in the Valley?
Yeah, let us know in the comment section if you've ever been to Gamers Under Fire in the Fortune Valley, and what was your favorite memory of that place. My favorite memory of Gamers Under Fire was I was playing League of Legends on the computers, and I was sitting down there, and Toby Too Good himself comes over, and he's the Rainbow Six Siege had just come out, right? Or was just about to come out. No, it just come out. And they're doing an event for it, but we weren't in the event. Me and my friend who was there with me, and we were just on the computers. And then he puts up this game, and he holds up Rainbow Six Siege on PC, and he goes, "All right, guys, I'm handing out a free copy of Rainbow Six Siege. All you need to do is answer this question." And I'm like, kind of listening, but I'm in the middle of my game. And he goes, "Who wrote the series of books that Rainbow Six Siege and the other games of his ilk are based on?" Right? Yeah, it's called Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "Isn't that Tom Clancy?" And the person I'm with shoots their arm up, and Connor goes, "Tom Clancy," right? And I'm like, "What's going?" I'm like barely paying attention. I'm like, "What's up?" And he goes, "Hey, dude, good work. Here's a free copy of Rainbow Six Siege." And Connor leans over, he's like, "Thanks, man," and goes back to his game with his free copy of Rainbow Six Siege. And I was like, "Oh, what the hell?" I was like, "What the hell?"
I've never redeemed that copy, by the way.
No,
I still don't own the game.
Game. And then I'm like, "Oh, what the hell? Dude, that was my answer." And he goes, "You can have it if you want." And I'm like, "What? Yeah, okay." And he goes, $40.
Capitalism.
This guy here, by the way.
That's an entrepreneur, right?
That's an entrepreneur right there. Yeah, $40. I'm like, man, fuck you. I go League of Legends. Didn't get my Rainbow Six Siege ever. Connor didn't redeem that. That was my favorite memory from Guff.
Guff actually used to be my local for Friday Night Magic.
Yeah.
Before opening the store.
I used to chill sometimes there at Friday Night Magic because I know some guys from Yu-Gi-Oh! Also did Magic, so it's unlikely that we weren't in the same rooms as each other before we knew each other. It's very likely that we were there very often.
Sorry, I just remember pre-release we had our God bless Barney. But we had a pre-release there for, I think it was, I want to say Origins, Magic Origins.
Damn, take me back.
The Kickstarter for Tavern Fame was live at the time, and I was teamed up with the other designer of Tavern Fame, so we made our team name Tavern Fame, now live on Kickstarter, back now. And Barney had to read that out every round.
What a king.
It was perfect.
That's free promo right there.
I do have another memory where they used to hold these things called Teemo parties, which was Oceania League of Legends were trying to get community built up in League of Legends, trying to get people like coming together and playing the game, akin to those fireside gatherings.
Yeah.
They're called Teemo parties, and I learned about it because a mutual friend of ours, Matea, was like, "Oh, I just did a mural at Guff, this painting. Do you remember that painting on the staircase of the Teemo with the mushrooms?" They painted that. That was a friend of ours. Cool. And what's that?
One of my best friends.
Yeah, they painted that, and there was a mutual friend of ours. And they were like, "Oh, we're doing this Teemo party. You want to come along?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'll come along." So I go to that party, and there was this mini game, right? Where this is like, it was season 4, season 3? Season 3.
No, it'd be after high school if it was Guff. So I think like season 5.
Season 5, maybe. Maybe season 5. Hey, it was early. We're in season 14, by the way, for League of Legends. It's like early League of Legends. And it was like, we had this game where he's like, oh, here's a little piece of paper and had like your favorite champion, your role, like, you know, your accounts, history, your rank. It was like, find somebody who matches as close to all of your stuff, right? So I was playing a lot back then, so I was Platinum 1 at the time, right? And my roles was I played top, Platinum 1. My favorite champion was a champion called Aatrox, who was fundamentally the most poorly balanced, garbage, useless champion in the game. Just garbage champion, and was never played top. It was often played in the jungle. So I had this card that was just the most like nonsense dribble you could imagine that somebody would write down. And I went over to everyone. I'm like, does anybody... I would go to people like, hey... because you had to talk to everyone and try and find the same card. And if you did, you got a prize. And I was like, hey, I should have lied. She said Jungle Lee Sin. It would have been fine. But anyway, and I'm like, I walk over and I'm like, hey, do you know do you play Aatrox? And the people are like, nah, man, no. And I'm like, okay. So I go to somebody else. Hey, do you play Aatrox? What the fuck? No. And then like literally I walked around and this one guy, Lee Sin main, by the way, this one guy literally he yells at me. He's like, dude, nobody plays Aatrox. Like nobody plays. You're like in the middle of the team party. And I'm like seeing their little like Aatrox card. Like, oh, okay. And he's like, nobody plays the champion. Why are you playing him top? That's so dumb. Why are you
16-year-old
little 16-year-old Trent? And I'm like, okay. And he's like, dude, what the hell? Anyway, just so very, very funny. Yeah. It's a very funny situation. And I remember just being like, it was like a real irony. I was like, man, I would just be like, this champion's awesome. The best top laner ever. And yeah, they're like, dude, you would have climbed easily into diamond if you had stopped playing this fucking shit. And he's like, and then the guy didn't believe me. He was like, there's no way you're Platinum Aatrox, mate. I showed him my account. He's like, oh. It was like the most like,
it's like, are you okay?
Oh, he was like, oh.
How many hours?
Oh God.
I think my favorite Guff memory is when we got one of those little side rooms and with the, you know, we had like a full setup game in there. We had a 5-stack and everything. And we were playing with our friend Jamal, who was relatively new, but at the time very much overestimated his understanding and abilities in the game.
Still does.
And it was quite a long ways into this night. And I forget who he's playing. I think it might have been Swain or something like that.
That makes sense.
And he made some really boneheaded play that got everybody killed. And then Trent just stood up and had this mask off moment. It's just like, what are you doing? I remember like him throwing his hand like over my head, just be like, get out, like just leave.
Well, I know the part that you're missing was Jamal was like, we could have all done better there. And that's why and that's what he said. He's like, we could have all done better there. And I just stand up and I'm like, are you joking? Dude, he's like, Jamal's the kind of guy who's like, I'm going to get a lead and then I'm going to just 1v5 every fight until I lose my lead and just give it to them. And I'm like, bro, you are griefing. Brother, it's over for us. It was like, I'm pretty sure it was like a 55-minute game too. It was a long game. And we were like on the cusp of victory. And he's like, nah, I just want to lose now. Click. We could have all played better, Jamal.
Jamal joins enemy team.
I could have thrown you out the second story window. We could have all done things differently. Anyway.
Those are our fun stories.
And then he disappeared for the 30-minute kebab.
What a king.
Yeah.
Well, those are our stories.
Yep.
Let us know in the comments what you enjoyed from Toyfair.
Are you excited for Beyblade? If you're local, if you
are you
know
excited
us,
for Beyblade? Yeah. Should we be running Beyblade?
Tell us that we should be running Beyblade. Just don't mention if we should. Like, don't give us your opinions if we should. Tell us why that is the case and why we definitely will be.
Just bring it into the store.
Don't forget to
bring your own Beyblades
like
in.
the video, subscribe to the channel here on YouTube or Spotify if you're listening on Spotify.
Ring that bell.
Get the bell and get notified every time a new video goes live here on From the Vaults. Make sure you like the video. It's very important you do because it lets us know that you are watching the video, watching the podcast, enjoying the podcast, and it helps us reach more people just like you.
If you like the video, like the video. It's that simple.
Exactly. I think that's it. Stay safe out there, everyone. Sorry.
Thank you, Connor.
Thank you, Connor.
Our wonderful producer.
Thank
you.
Thank you, Trent.
Everyone for watching. Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you, Trent.
Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you both.
Thank you, Connor.
Thank you, Connor.
Thank you.
Thank you,
viewers,
listeners.
Listeners, viewers, Spotify people, YouTube people.
Yeah.
All of the above.
Spotify algorithm doing some work for us in New Zealand.
Yeah.
We've got 3 listeners in New Zealand that I didn't even have to promote for.
They're loving us.
That's like half the country.
I know, right?
Thank you so much, our 3 people from New Zealand.
Shout out to Zane.
Shout out to Zane. Shout out to Jonathan. Shout out to Mary. Shout out to Stephen.
Are you just saying names?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank God. I thought you generally just knew random people in New Zealand.
I was very confident as I was saying that. Yeah, I was very confident.
Wash your goddamn hands.
Stay safe. Wash your goddamn hands. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye. 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 Goodbye.